It's Padres, it's Rays, both teams surpassing everyone's expectations for a variety of different reasons. We're going to talk exactly about how this series is going to go down because the Rays are very, 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 very good, and it upsets me.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I am one of your hosts with sometimes the most, Javier Reyes, and I'm being joined by my man, Ulises Sambrano of Locked On Rays for a fun crossover spectacular. Sir, how are you doing on this fine Friday?
I'm doing well, man. It's great to see you. It's great to talk to you off screen and on screen. So yeah, let's do that.
Absolutely, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. And we've had over the years, some Locked On OGs over here. A lot of trades, whether it be Jason Adam, whether it be us just talking about what Ha-Seong Kim went to your team, who we'll talk about probably in more depth because that's been a weird storyline. And Blake Snell was kind of the first big one, right? Yeah. Blake Snell and how that trade was one of the first trades the Rays ever didn't win, which was pretty wild. Right. The Tommy Pham trade, there's been a lot of synergy with these two teams, and now they're playing this weekend, and the Rays are looking pretty comfortable right now, at least in terms of to make the playoffs. Yes, the Yankees could always catch up. They're 4 games behind them in terms of the division standings. But in terms of playoffs, they're looking pretty good. As usual, the Rays doing what the Rays do. So can you talk a little bit about how they once again have surpassed expectations, where I think that most people can only name Junior Caminero. It's not an insult in terms of the big, big names on this team. And this is what they do year after year. They just kind of surpass the expectations that everyone forgets about them because they didn't, make the big splashy type of move.
Right. No, they came in with, if we make it to 500, it's a good season. With 2 years back to back of not making the playoffs after making the playoffs 5 years in a row, you at least wanted to see a step forward into, can we at least get to 500? Now, Kevin, my co-host, he said 77 wins is his prediction. I said 78. Evan Klosky, the WTSP sports director, Channel 10, is on the show almost weekly. And he said 80 wins is my prediction. That's how good this race season has been. That was the vibe of the type of season we were looking forward to having. They've already had more wins than last year. So this is a great season so far. The problem is that not only are the Yankees, kind of smelling the race behind in the AL East, but the lack of consistency throughout the season. Because yes, you can go 22-4, and that's awesome, and we're all really happy about it. But then if that's followed by a 9-18 stretch, it's kind of the up and down of the season. Now, again, you are first in the AL East, what we consider to be the most difficult division in baseball. Obviously, NL West fans might not agree with that statement, and that's fine. However, when you put it that way, it's been a good season. It's just when you're really in the weeds, it's been a lot of really good, really bad. But when you look at the standings, obviously more good than bad.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, for what it's worth, I think that you're kind of right. I think it's more impossible to win the NL West. But the AL East for years now, even though I understand the Orioles have been good, very, very good this year, but they're frisky. They have Pete Alonso. They just refuse to add pitching because we're on year 15 of them not understanding you need starters to win. Just crazy idea. I don't know. I don't know. Baltimore. Maybe you want to add a starter. But then Boston went through that insane stretch. And the Yankees, by the way, both teams with a better run differential than the Rays. These are still very good teams. It's a very competitive division. They just don't have the unbeatable juggernaut quite in their division. But I agree. And I think that with the Rays, this is where they thrive. They thrive every year with being the afterthought, where they have a couple good players and they've been through it. Right, Shane McClanahan getting injured, a certain former shortstop that thinks that it was bad guy. Yeah. And then you have Junior Caminero come up, who's been this awesome guy, 35 home runs this year. He's got 4 wins above replacement. He's an absolute stud. All that, and then you have Yandy Diaz, a smart, classic Rays. Let's just get a guy who gets on base and can draw some walks and get some hits. And then, of course, it's the rotation, which we're going to be talking about later when we go through the pitching matchups. But I think that the Rays, it's they're surpassing expectations, But should we be surprised still that they keep doing it? It's a little Pittsburgh Steelers vibes in the NFL where it's like, why do they keep doing this? Guys, we're on like year 9. Maybe we should just start assuming, or at least being open to the possibility that this team is smarter than everybody else. They're going to put it together. And when they get their guys healthy, they're going to be able to be a genuine fixture in the playoff race.
That's how we see it from within the market. Like, we don't get no respect, Rodney Dangerfield type of stuff. But it's because like you go to the playoffs for 5 years in a row from 2019 to 2023, and you miss the playoffs twice, and then people are writing you off. Obviously, what has happened in 2026, even for us that follow the team every day, has been a surprise. Everything has seemingly worked out. The rotation, which we'll talk about, is definitely the backbone of how successful this team has been. But in the lineup, you have 3 big guys in Yandy Diaz, and Junior Caminero, and then Jonathan Aranda. Those 3 guys, the big 3, that's what we call them, the big 3. Yeah. And then the rest of the lineup is, can you do what you do best consistently? Chandler Simpson, you're the fastest man alive. Can you put that to use? Mm-hmm. Johnny DeLuca, you're a great hitter against lefties. Can you do that? Mm-hmm. Cedric Mullins, can you still catch it in center field and give us somewhat of 680 to 710 OPS type production? Can you still do that? Ryan Vilade is being given a platoon opportunity in the outfield and to play second base and first base. And he's done a great job when the Cardinals and the Detroit Tigers gave him a few at-bats here and there, and he didn't produce it all. But the Rays gave him an open lane this year, and he succeeded. So everything has seemingly worked out. But I know that we're going to focus on the pitching, so I won't just give you all the roses yet to those guys, because that's really why we are where we are right now in the standings.
Your big 3 is kind of what happens when, with the Padres, they have their big 3 in Machado, Tatis, and Jackson Merrill, and those guys just were terrible to start the year. And I think that Tatis is probably the best overall player between all these 6 guys because of the defense, right? Because he can give you a platinum glove as well.
Man, that catch that catch in Citi Field,
I know, dude. The aura, my God, the aura was crazy.
It was out of a movie.
I know
that catch.
And the way he just so smoothly threw the ball right, like back into his other hand. I was like, unreal. Oh. He's back. Yeah. So they have been better, but then don't underestimate just because they don't have quite the name recognition. Yandy Diaz is just a walks on base king for like years now. Yeah. And then Jonathan Aranda was one of those guys that came up and was really fun. And everyone's like, is this real? Yeah, no, it's real. It's real. Yeah. We're telling you it's real. And now we're in that second year where he's like proven, I think, more that it is real. So this trio is absolutely great. And in terms of the general statistics for the Rays, they're kind of what I said before, which is they're first in batting average and they're 5th in on base. Don't have a lot of home runs, but they just put together runs by getting on base with singles, doubles, all that sort of stuff. And then ERA, they're 8th. Home runs, give it up. They're actually 25th, which is interesting. So it's basically been like home run or nothing for this Rays pitching staff. And then they're 7th in batting average against, 1st in whip. Like, very talented pitching staff. They're a weird, quirky team, and they've got a lot of weird and quirky players. And they have one in particular that I want to talk about. We're going to talk about 2, like, the underrated players, I think, from both of these 2 teams that people should keep an eye on. Because yours, I actually have a stat for you. Ooh. And that's Liam Hicks. Because he has been looking like a gem and a classic. I mentioned before the Padres were one of those teams that got the rare, we won a trade with the Rays. This is one where, this is why the Rays got that reputation, because they just found this guy who might be a real star.
If you've got a sweet tooth like I do, you know how tough it is to find that perfect treat without all the sugar. And that's why the Fruity Rainbow 5-Hour Energy Shot brings the nostalgic flavor back in a whole new way. The Fruity Rainbow 5-Hour Energy Shots treat your taste buds to an explosion of fruity flavor with a tasty caffeine kick. It's a quick, easy way to satisfy that sweet craving while keeping things simple and on the go. And you can tell, what's your favorite part about the Fruity Rainbow taste? Well, for me, it's the fact that I'm getting my sweet cravings done for and not adding any calories to the list. That's a quick pick-me-up that I enjoy. It's small, portable, and easy to grab whenever I need a little pick-me-up. So today, get the candy-flavored chaos with Fruity Rainbow 5-Hour Energy Shots, available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Well, I'm going to the game at the Trop on Saturday, and you know how I got my tickets? Yeah, that's right, using Game Time, because there's nothing like getting your tickets to the Trop using something that helps you along the way, like Game Time. The Game Time app gives fans advantage with constant innovation, and it's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. And it's so simple to use. You've got the seat views, which is a huge feature. I can see the panoramic view from my exact seats before I buy. And my favorite part, and I know that it's Kevin's favorite too, is that there is no hidden fees. No. 2 taps, you see that there's no stress, you see no hidden fees, and you get great seats in minutes. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today.
And we're back for real this time. That was amazing.
Caught me there.
I know. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to try and catch you for the next ad break. But let's talk about, I think, underrated players for the Padres. I'll start with you, though. Please. Liam Hicks he's got a 175 WRC plus. He's hitting 308 with a 438 on base, 556 slug. I know it's 17 games, but it's looking real good. And Ulises, did you know that Liam Hicks in the pitch tracking era, so that's since 2008, that he has the second lowest whiff percentage on pitches in the zone of all major league players? Number one, who's, if anyone's curious, is Aaron Miles, small sample size. And then Juan Pierre, for people who remember him. Brett Gardner is on the list of the top 10. Nice. But basically what we're saying is, if you make a mistake to this guy, he is never going to swing and a miss as long as it's inside the zone, which is a pretty nutty thing to find for a guy that they basically gave up nothing for.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic to see how the length of the lineup has been affected because of Liam Hicks, because, you know, you put those big 3, and that's how we've survived most of the season. Now with Liam Hicks, the problem without having anybody after the big 3 was Junior Caminero was kind of sticking out like a sore thumb, and you can see it in his on base, how that has skyrocketed from last year to this year, in part because teams are saying, we're not going to deal with Junior when we don't have to. Yeah, we'll face Johnny DeLuca. Yeah, we'll face Chandler Simpson. Yeah, we'll face Ryan Vilade, except for the guy that hit 45 bombs and is hitting 35 bombs. Like, we're not that dumb. So by putting Liam Hicks into this lineup, now you're going to have to make the decision of having to pitch to Junior Caminero. So Liam Hicks has been fantastic. And as a baseball fan, you know, there are some guys that you enjoy how they go through the at-bats. My gosh, Liam Hicks is one of those guys where you're like, oh, it's his turn. I'm going to watch and enjoy this at-bat. Because, like, the way that he takes his pitches, the way that he swings, it's all very nice in baseball aesthetically talking. It's fantastic what he has done for this team. And the numbers speak for themselves. But just, you know, if we can go boomer talk here, eye test, it's lovely to see him taking a bat.
Absolutely. And I think that with the Padres, they have kind of the opposite. They're a very aggressive team, but they do swing and a miss a decent amount. But their offense, which, I mean, it was the story. I mean, you probably heard about it, right? Tatis, no home runs for the first 2 months of the season.
That has got to be a roller coaster of emotions for Padres fans, because now you look at his numbers, 17 bombs, 4.1 WAR, and you're thinking, okay, well, how did he get here? Because the first couple months must have been so frustrating as a Padres fan, but now you're seeing a superhero basically play ball every night for you.
I mean, it's just so funny that the Rays surpass expectations in the sense that this is what they do, right? We just talked about it in the first segment. The Padres have surpassed expectations twice. And here's what I mean by that.
Okay.
The first one was them being somehow, despite the payroll, despite having Machado, Merrill, who was, in my opinion, you could even maybe should have won Rookie of the Year, maybe. Okay. I don't want to make that argument on this podcast. Maybe the other guy was a girlfriend merchant. I don't know. I didn't say it. Wasn't me. I'm kidding, of course. Paul Skeens is amazing. But with Jackson Merrill, with hopefully getting something out of Xander Bogaerts. My mistake on that one. We thought that he would just not get, he would be solid. No, he actually got worse than the previous year, so he's been a mess.
Yeah.
And then you have some other depth pieces. That's been what's been the issue with this team. They actually did well with that. Gavin Sheets, an okay bat, has regressed tremendously against lefties. And then you got Ty France, who has been an absolute menace this year. Genuinely one of the best first basemen in baseball at the plate. So you have that. You've had some nice breakouts, and then all of a sudden Tatis can't hit his first home run. And Ulises, I bring this up on my show all the time, but I haven't told you this. Tatis's first home run, I was traveling. I know everybody's listening to my podcast. I know you're sick of this, but I'm going to keep bringing it up, damn it. That the weekend I traveled to DC for one of my best friend's engagement. Okay. The day that he proposed, that was the game that Tatis hit his first home run. Oh. Needless to say, there was an open bar. I was with him. We ran around like lunatics when we saw that. He went, wait, who was it? Who was it? And I said it was Tatis. We lost our mind. And ever since that day, he has been back. And then ever since the last month, particularly the second half, he has looked like his 2021 self. This is a guy who leads Major League Baseball along with Pete Crow Armstrong in WRC Plus ever since the second half. And every home run is a bomb. This is not a fluke. So with him being back, and then Machado, he was for some reason really good at hitting home runs and doing nothing else. He had something like 15 home runs and was hitting 160 to start the year. Yeah. And you're like, oh God, is the fall off officially here? Is he just going to be our new Bogaerts? No. Is he the MVP player that he used to be? Not really, but he looks like he can be an average bat who hits for a lot of power and can play really good defense. And then
still has great glove. Yeah, it's a great glove and arm. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. The Padres surpass expectations by finding a way to not just have guys that were underperforming. Let's say, I don't know, I can't think of like a Rays equivalent right now of a player who like Yandy Diaz had that 1 year where he was a little bit off, but he wasn't bad, right? Like I'm looking at the numbers right now. He had the
21 season. Maybe?
Yeah, it was the 21 season where he had a 139. Then he was a 110 guy, had a 256 average, right? Randomly hit 256 every year since then. He's at 300, but he wasn't awful. Right. That's not what happened with the Padres. Their guys were awful. I'm talking below average Major League starters, like what Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is doing this year. All of them were like that. Now they have done the thing where they shocked everyone with that. And now they've shocked everyone by going from the worst offense in Major League Baseball to the second half. Name a friggin' staff. You want to go by WAR? They're third in Major League Baseball. You want to go by WRC Plus? They're third in Major League Baseball. Whatever kind of thing you want to go by.
Was it a second half surge? Was it like how the team is winning lately? Like what happened?
That's what it's been. It's been that their offense woke up, and I have not seen a team. I've seen teams be really bad and then get back to middle of the pack. I haven't seen a team that was nearly last in basically every offensive category, then become first in every offensive category and have a negative 43 run differential at the All-Star break. Do you know what their run differential is right now?
I do not.
It is an astounding plus 14. Like, that is an insane turnaround. Yes, the addition of some starting pitching has helped that they acquired at the deadline because AJ Poe is a psychopath. But that's what I mean by they surpassed expectations twice. They shocked everybody by being not just underperforming, but anemic at the plate with their stars. And they've shocked everyone by being that bad and turning around so drastically that Tatis looks like, sorry to shock everyone, maybe there was more going on than PEDs with his underperformance the past couple of years. Maybe it's the shoulder surgery, maybe it's the injuries, maybe it's the juiced balls. I don't know. What can I say? Things are more complicated. And it is really funny that he might finish with more home runs than he did last year, despite being healthy the full last year.
I mean, he's already got 17. He's got
17.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility that he ends up with 25.
Yeah. And he hit his first one in May. Like that's like May 18th, whatever day it was. So this Padres team, complete opposite in terms of how their season has gone when it comes to just this roller coaster. And I think that's been what's so fun. And then Ty France would be the underrated player. You guys have Liam Hicks. We have Ty France. I don't know how legit this is going forward, but in fairness to Ty France, he has been an effective bat before. Padres famously had Eric Hosmer, and they gave up Ty France in a trade that included Andres Munoz and Ty France. Like, sent both of those guys away. They both end up being pretty good. 130 WRC plus his first year in 2020 without the Padres, then a 129, then 127, then 106, and he fell off, and he was this defense-only first baseman, which, you know, if you're going to be bad at a defensive area, most teams, they say, we'll take first. First is the area that you can afford. So that's why he wasn't on a team. They picked him up off the scrap heap, and this year he's slashing 287, 355. He has a 507 slug.
Yeah, no.
The highest slug of his career was in a shortened 2020. It was 468. That's what's been crazy, and I don't know if this is going to continue for years ahead. But for right now, he's literally the Padres cleanup hitter right now. So that's something.
67 OPS from your first baseman. You'll take that any day of the week. Now, Jackson Merrill, I see his stats a little bit underwhelming. Has it just been injury, off year? What's up with Jackson?
I think what happened with Jackson is the classic mistake we always make, which is if a guy starts off awesome, it must mean he was a 4-win rookie or a 5-win rookie. He must be then a 7-win player the year after. Then he's going to be 8. Sometimes things change. Sometimes, breaking news, everybody, when you don't walk a lot, peak year, and when you don't walk a lot, it gives you less ways to be productive when maybe you're not swinging the bat well. He's young, he's struggled a bit, and he started being a little bit more protective of the zone. And I think that actually hurt him. He talked about this in an interview with AJ Cassavell, of the MLB reporter, MLB beat reporter for the Padres, who was like, he just said, I stopped thinking, I'm an aggressive hitter. That's what I'm going to do. And we can afford that. We have guys that draw walks in this lineup. And that's why he has been otherworldly in the second half, looking like that version of himself that was great. I don't think there was a fear that Jackson was going to be like, it was over and we made a huge mistake. Okay. I did think there was a fear that this year was going to be a lost season. Turns out that is not what's happening. In the first half this year, Jackson Merrill was like genuinely bad. He hit 219 with a 278 on base and just a 350 slug. In the second half, in totality, he's got 278 on average, 307 on base, which isn't great, but he's slugging 556. And if you just look at the months, oh my God, July and August have been kind to him. He's been on a roll, and I think that what happened was just pitchers found out a new way to attack him. He's so talented, though, that he made up for it. But this is an issue people make.
He's young. He's 23.
You're going to have an off year.
Yeah.
And sometimes and like you said, sometimes you could peak. Look at Jason Hayward. That's a weird pull, right? But that's Jason Hayward, it's a weird pull. But like his first year, he hit 22 home runs. Or he had that 1 year where he hit 27 home runs. Never got even close to that ever again. And that was in his age 22 season. Still ended up having a fine career. But sometimes these things are not just as simple as if you started this way, this is what the data says. Vinny Pasquantino started insane with the Kansas City Royals, and now he's just fine, right? Yeah. So these things can go back and forth, but Merrill's bat-to-ball skills, I think, have triumphed. His defense is excellent. And the Padres are back. This is an offense that, we just mentioned, the Rays' pitching is very good, a little bit susceptible to the long ball. So it feels like the story this weekend might be long ball hitters versus a great pitching staff. Like, what is going to give? Because if the Padres are going to do it, that's what they're going to have to need. Because as of right now, we're going to talk about it in a second, there's no one listed for their probable starting pitchers. I don't know exactly what that means. We're going to see. I'm optimistic that they're going to have guys, and we got to talk about those guys, especially the ones that they acquired at the deadline. And of course, talk about the Rays pitching staff. I'll let you gush because you guys always have some good pitchers. But first, guys, we need to take a quick little break.
I was juggling a couple different apps the other day, and then I realized to myself, why don't I just use our friends at Clutch Parlays? Because that is their expertise. Instead of going to multiple different apps to check different injuries and betting lines, I can see it all in one with our friends at Clutch Parlays. And a little bit of bonus there is they give you data to back their bets. Maybe you want to do a double for a star player that night. They can give you the percentage of what they hit on for that exact bet. And that's why I love our friends at Clutch Parlays. But here's the offer for you. Find the best line and build smarter parlays. Track every bet and make more informed betting decisions, all with ClutchParlays.com. Right now, Clutch Parlays is offering a great deal for Locked On listeners. Your first month free on a monthly plan. They want to make sure that you get a real chance to try it out and see what it can do for you. Go to ClutchParlays.com today and use code Locked On to claim it. ClutchParlays.com. Bring together live odds, line shopping, predictions, bet tracking, analytics in one place so you can bet with more confidence.
And we're back here, Locked On Padres and Locked On Rays, Javier Reyes and Ulises Sambrano. We're talking now some pitching matchups for this weekend series. Since we're later to the podcast, full disclosure, we are recording this on a Wednesday. so we do not have the full picture. We do have the full picture, though, for the Rays starters, which the first game of the series is projected to be Shane McClanahan, followed by former Padre Nick Martinez, who has been quietly awesome. I can't wait for you to talk about him, and Drew Rasmussen for the third game. All three pitchers. Well, I'm sorry. McClanahan has a 3.1 ERA. Oh no, the horror. And then Mick Martinez and Rasmussen both under 3. Let's start with McClanahan. What can you tell us about him? Because this was a guy that was really, really good. And it just felt like he was in all this injury, plagued by all these injuries. And it seems like he's come back and hasn't lost a step.
Almost 1,000 days between pitching on a major league mound. I mean, just that alone, if there is another comeback player of the year, it should be under protest. The comeback player of the year is Shane McClanahan. Almost 1,000 days. Imagine what that can do, not only physically, but mentally to a guy. Like, you don't know if you're ever going to do the thing that you have worked your whole life for. And you were pretty dang good at it. You starred in the All-Star game. All right? So, like, a back-to-back All-Star guy. So, he comes back, and this is, if we can, nerd out for a little bit, in all of the multiverse that we have, the best case scenario for Shane McClanahan is what we're living in right now. There is nothing better that you could have asked for Shane McClanahan to come back and be better than what he has been this season. Like, it would be ridiculous, honestly, and just show poor baseball knowledge to say, well, he could have done a little bit better. No, this is the best case scenario for Shane McClanahan because he has been able to keep his innings at an orderly pace due to how the Rays front office and the coaching staff keep him usually between 5 and 6 innings. More on the 5-inning side than anything. He just came back from an IL stint at 57 pitches. They said, you know what? It's even a 3 1/3. You're out. Then the last time out, they agreed to 75 plus pitches. So he was out after 5 innings. So this weekend, if I'm a Padres fan, obviously I'm not rooting for Shane McClanahan at all if I'm a Padres fan, but just know that 5 innings is what you usually are going to see from Shane McClanahan. And unfortunately for Padres fan, it's usually 5 innings, 2 earned runs or less.
Yeah. The good news is that with the Padres, when it comes to their side of the starting pitching thing, they've got some pretty solid starters and an amazing bullpen, probably the best bullpen in Major League Baseball.
The bullpen is ridiculous for the Padres.
It's obscene. They've had a tough going of late in terms of losing some games where their starting pitchers have been great, but I think
Miller hadn't allowed a home run in X amount of games, and just happened this week. Yeah,
O'Neal Cruz, kind of an anti-Rays player.
Yeah,
like just the guy that's all like power, but he's super talented and he had that moment. But the Padres have wasted some of their starting pitchers as of late. In this weekend, I imagine that it's probably going to be Casey Mize. Going. I'm not confirmed because he did have an ankle sprain was what it was, and he was really off in his last start. They played the Twins. That's right. Okay. And the Twins were just launching home runs. Like he gave up 3 home runs. It looked like batting practice. Gets removed from the game early. They say that he's fine, but I don't want to be 100% certain. If he is healthy, though, Casey Mize, really solid guy. He was better in the American League, but he's had a little bit of a decrease in his velo. And also with Mize, by the way, because he doesn't walk much, since that's the thing that the Rays like to do, that should be an interesting matchup. That's one thing that he's very good at doing.
The Twins should have had the book on, being in division with the Tigers all the time. So I wouldn't stress about that one too much if I'm a Padres fan. But I mean, are we going to see Vasquez? Are we going to see Buehler, King? I know Pivetta is out still on the IL, right? Yeah. So
I think that we're seeing probably Walker Buehler and Robbie Ray. I would imagine. Joe Musgrove is making one more rehab start on Thursday, and if that went good, it sounds like he's going to be joining the rotation. But after this series, unfortunately, he's kind of our McClanahan. He also has not pitched in like 1,000 days, so hopefully he comes back and is solid. So Walker Buehler loves getting some ground balls. Again, something that might work against this Rays team that likes to hit for average. Can he produce enough? He doesn't get strikeouts. That's not what he does, but he's underrated. He's got a 4.63 ERA, but that's a little bit misleading because he's just had some weird stretches. Remember remember when the Marlins won 15 in a row and then lost 18 in a row? Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what he's been like, where he's just been a quality start guy who's eaten innings for them. And he has so many different pitches that he might be able to throw off a lineup for a game.
That would be a very great matchup to see Buehler against this Rays team, because Yandy Diaz loves going oppo with ground balls and usually finds a hole between first and second. But the guy that you have to watch out with ground balls, man, is Chandler Simpson. Like,
oh yeah,
he just puts choppers.
Fire drill every time, right?
It's a fire, yeah. And so, like, it's an easy way for a ground ball pitcher to get into a mistake with Chandler Simpson, because you think on the ground, you're fine. With that type of speed, he has the amount of infield base hits that Chandler Simpson has right now is almost the combination of infield base hits that the number 2 and number 3 spot together have. That's how many. It's above 50 infield base hits for Chandler Simpson this season. So a ground ball pitcher, I would be very interested to see if against Buehler, you might have Kevin Cash be a little bit aggressive in the lineup and put Chandler Simpson at leadoff to try to create havoc right off the bat against the Padres.
And we'll see. Padres have had some really good defensive plays this year, so like it's not an easy defense to expose. We'll see how it goes. Walker Buehler, though, again, that's going to be interesting. He throws a lot of different types of pitches. He produces ground balls. And then the last Padres starter is Robbie Ray, who is just, his ERA is misleading in the negative way, where I know it's 3.21. He was one of the hottest starters in his last 11 starts before the deadline, but strikeout rate's down, walk rate's up. I think the whole thing, though, is we just needed a guy who we could 5 and dive with, and that he can do. He can have those moments where he's on pitching ninja, right? And he's got like a couple really great strikeouts. But with the walk rate increasing, that's what could make him, I think, the starter that I'm most worried about this weekend against this particular Rays team. But as long as he just 5 and dives, that's the Padres kind of hope with him. He's not bad.
You've got the bullpen to be okay with that type of mentality. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. So we'll see how that pans out. And then for the Rays, tell us about your last 2 guys. I mean, Padres fans know about Nick Martinez, but still talk about him, and then talk about Rasmussen, who is a 14-5 guy. In terms of WAR, he's been the most productive pitcher in this. His advanced stats are really good. He's striking out 26% of batters. Jeez Louise, Tampa, stop doing this to us. They keep doing it all the time.
I'll keep the Nick Martinez short because you guys know him already. It's been the changeup. The changeup has been so good for him this year, and he's been a great leader in the clubhouse for us. First time All-Star nomination for him in his whole career happens this year. So very cool to see Nick Martinez just be that leader in the clubhouse and show the guys the rope. So he's been really fun to watch, and maybe the underlinings, the stats under the hood might say that he's been overperforming. I don't care about that as long as the results keep happening. I don't have to cut him a check next year. So it's not my money. So as long as the results keep going, I don't care about the under the hood stats. That's for other people to care about. And it's almost a month that we're out of the regular season. So, hey, keep overperforming, Nick. You've been doing fantastic. Now, with Drew, 7 last starts, 7 wins. I mean, the guy has been the Rays ace for the last 2.5 years. He's always been really fun to watch. His turnaround from being a bullpen guy to a rotation arm, he's exhibit A of how the Rays have been able to do that time and again. And this year, it's more of, how can he use the 3 different types of fastball? The 4-seam, the 2-seam, the cutter. Like, that's the bread and butter that he's got for hitters. And honestly, it's been very consistent with Drew. He's just that guy. At first, when we talked about Drew Rasmussen's start, you meant 5 scoreless innings. That was Drew Rasmussen. Then it came, 6 innings, 1 earned run. And now we're looking at sometimes 7 innings, 1 earned run or 2 earned runs. So I like the odds for the Rays for this weekend series to get 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I totally feel that. We'll just have to see if this is the classic baseball thing where the Padres struggle against the Pirates, but then they do well against the Rays for some reason.
Yeah.
I think that what's going to be the decider is just these pitching matchups are just fascinating to me. And I'm really curious to see, Casey Mize, are you healthy? Can the Padres get to the bullpen? We both had the off day on Thursday, so everyone should be replenished. And against these weird pitchers, against former Padre Nick Martinez, is he going to be motivated to go out, or are the Padres going to be like, buddy, we know all your tricks? So that should be a lot of fun to see. Last thing, end credits scene, Easter egg, whatever you want to talk about. Why did you kill our sweet prince, Ha-Seong Kim?
I think that not a lot of time I can say this, but I don't think Ha-Seong Kim would ever get a free drink at a Tampa Bay bar. No one's going to buy Ha-Seong Kim a drink in the Tampa Bay area. That's for sure. Yeah. Not great.
He's Ha-Seong Kim with the Braves now. Oh, God.
Oh,
dude. Oh, my God. Oh, God. I didn't know it was this. I just looked it up on Fangraphs. He has a negative 29 WRC+. I didn't know that was possible.
Oof.
He's a negative 1 win play. It started with you guys. I don't care, though. You guys did this.
I mean, he got hurt
Yeah.
and then didn't play until like July. He played for like 20 games and he was meh, and then he was out of here.
The Braves should have known. If you guys made this much of if you guys were like, whoa, this is wrong, they should have known this guy was good. I mean, I didn't think it's disaster.
Ha-Seong Kim stay with the Rays was the Abe Simpson gif of walking into the bar, dropping his hat, walking a one circle, and then getting the hell out. That was Ha-Seong Kim, basically. Yeah.
It was just, and so, I mean, I joke, obviously, but man, I missed that guy. That was the last podcast we did, but today is the most recent, and that's what matters. Ulises, it's been a blast talking to you, as always. I'm sure we'll text over the weekend and see how this all goes down, because it's going to be an important series for both teams. Padres, they're only 1 game up at the time of this recording of the D-backs for that last wild card spot, and they desperately need some wins because the division is not an option. At least I don't think, barring some catastrophe or, the Dodgers, I guess, don't have $7 billion to spend. That'd be kind of cool if that was changed. But it's been a blast, man. Until next time, everybody, go check out Locked On Rays, Locked On Padres. Till next time,